Back again. How many of you guys have gone on a road trip? Gone in a car somewhere? Gone on an Oats bus or a car ride? You've all gone somewhere, at least coming to work, going back to work. And when you go to the store, anywhere, we see street signs everywhere that kind of lay down the laws of the land. So tell us what to do, which way to go, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And I know we've all seen them, and there's so many of them. I'm going to spend today and tomorrow going over a few of the street signs, okay? So, because I know a lot of times, even if I'm the passenger, I look out and watch things. Maybe I help the driver if they don't see something that I see, okay? So we're just going to go over and review some street signs, all right? This should be pretty easy. Each video we do today and tomorrow is going to have 12 street signs. I'm going to pull it up and we'll go over what it means. And then on our worksheet, I'll have some questions about them, okay? I think you've all seen this one before. The crossing and the R&R means for railroad. That's where trains go across. Railroad crossing. Okay? That's a railroad crossing. This one here, I think you've all seen before too. This is to let you know coming up soon is a stoplight. So you got to pay attention because you might get a red light. Okay? This is letting you know coming up pretty soon is you're going to be seeing a stoplight. Stoplight's coming up soon. This is important because this lets you know there's a firehouse soon. So if you're driving, you hear sirens, it might be a firehouse that needs to come out to get to an emergency. A lot of times now they also have a stoplight close by there too. But this is to let you know there's a firehouse coming up soon. A firehouse. This one we see a lot kind of more, I think, on curvy roads, but this is an important one for a driver to pay attention to. These little squiggly lines kind of means it's slippery when it's wet. So maybe if it's been raining, this section of the road, if you see it come up on the road, you see that sign? This means the road's pretty slippery. It can get slippery when it's wet. So you need to be driving a little more careful. I think we've all seen this one too, and this is kind of more on the back roads, just the 2-lane roads, especially if there's roads by woods. See this? It's a deer. You all know it's a deer, but this lets you know that deer's crossing. This is really important that the driver needs to watch for deers because deers don't really look out for cars. They just run across the road. So drivers need to watch because if a car hits a deer, that could be a very serious accident. You could hurt your car, you could hurt yourself. I've known a lot of big accidents that happen because somebody's hit a deer crossing the road. So you got to watch out for deer. And if you're the passenger, you can also help look, or you might be able to look off into the woods or in the fields and just see deer hanging out. I've done that before. Over the years working here, I've seen this sign a lot, especially around here at work. Anytime that the guys are out there repaving or fixing potholes or anything on the roads, you're going to see this sign. This is to let you know men at work. That means that there's guys out in the street, out in the road fixing it and working on it. So when you're driving by, you got to be aware and be careful so you don't hit anybody. This gives you a heads up that there's men out there working. Now this one you'll see a lot with the sign we saw before where the men are working. You might come across a detour sign. That means maybe that part of the road is closed because they're working on it, so they're going to make you go around. They're going to give you a detour, which is a different way to go, okay? A detour is just a different way to go to get past that little part of the road. And I don't know if you noticed, but all these orange signs kind of go together. This is what we call a flag man ahead. That also might mean that instead of sending a detour to make you go a different way, there might be somebody holding up a flag that says, you gotta stop, I'm gonna let these guys come through, and then I'll hold up a flag and stop them, and you come through. So there's a person out there with a flag directing traffic. Again, these orange ones with the people and everything on the roads, all the signs are important. But these are important for drivers to pay attention for their safety and other people's safety and no accidents. We want to pay attention to all the street signs. Now this one says one way. What this one means is you can only drive this way because it's pointing that way. Whichever way the one-way sign points, that's the way you can go. There's only one way to go. So cars can drive down this way, but no cars this way. No cars going against the arrow. That would be a big accident. Some of the streets downtown and some of the big cities downtown or in like the center of cities, they have one-way streets. Even in St. Charles, little St. Charles downtown, to go around is one way. You have to go that way until you can move around to the other way, okay? It's very important to follow the one-way sign. This sign is the big red sign, and we all know red kind of means to stop, but this one says do not enter. So it's pretty much saying stop, don't go in here. You can't go this way. You can't enter there, okay? Do not enter. So you can't go in there. You gotta go around and do a different way. Do not enter. Sometimes you see this with the one-way sign because they're telling you not to go that way because everything's going this way. This one's important by schools. This is by a lot of schools. And it lets you know it's a school crossing, that people are going to be crossing the street. They kind of got little books in their hands, and they're crossing the street. So around the times if you're going by a school that's morning time, when all the kids are going to school, or when they're getting out of school, you need to be cautious because they get the right of way. You got to watch for the kids crossing the street. Nobody wants to be involved in an accident and hit the kid. That's not good. So your driver will slow down, and if there's any children that need to cross the street, they'll let them cross the street. Our last sign for today's video, the speed limit sign. What this sign does is tells the driver what the law is and how fast they're supposed to drive on that road. So if we were driving on this road, we could only go 45. The highways, it's a much higher speed limit, like 70. And then there's other ones, if you're on little neighborhood streets, it might be 15 or 25. These are important rules that you need to follow because you can only drive this fast. This is what, if you don't follow this rule, this is how you get the speeding tickets because you're going too fast. You're going over faster than what the speed limit's telling you to say or do. So that's today's video. Tomorrow we're going to have another 12 signs, street signs, and then our week will be over. You guys have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.